Hi, Heike.
Hi, Irene.
How are you? Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, me too, because you are one of the rebirthers that have been traveling around the world with Leonard so many years. You have a lot of experience. Maybe you are one of the rebirthers that, for sure, no, that have more experience, professional and personal experience with rebirthing. So I am very happy to share with you, to interview you, and to listen to your stories, your experience, all what you have to share with us today.
Yes, thank
And
you.
about, yes, and about a very important topic, physical immortality. That's a very special topic, no? Unknown, also very unknown, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, so what is for you, Heike, what does it mean, uh, physical immortality for you? The concept, I mean.
Yes. Well, I just thought about this when I was mentally preparing myself for the interview, that it is not a goal, but it is a way. It's a way of life. And the philosophy of physical immortality for me just means that I do the best I can to keep my body healthy and alive.
Mm-hmm.
And as thought is creative and that we are always creating, either in the positive way or in the negative way, we are creating our life. And so for me, physical immortality, as I learned it with Leonard, and he got inspired by the immortal yogis, is just the way of how I think about my life, the philosophy. Leonard put it into 3 steps. The philosophy of physical immortality, that I can physically be healthy and live as long as I choose to. And then the second step is that I work on all the issues that make me feel unhappy or miserable or upset in my life, and that I can enjoy my life to the fullest. And so then the third part of that would be the practices that we do to stay happy and healthy and alive as long as we choose to.
So you think that human being can unravel this program, aging program? I mean, in which sense, or by in what extent it's the human being conditioned by the aging program?
Yes, well, we are all conditioned to live our life according to our family tradition. And that means when we see our grandparents, our parents age, it does something to us, because we as children see them as authority, and we don't have any other knowledge of other potential that we have as a human being. So we just follow the program, and the program is, since we are living in the very materialistic world, is very deeply ingrained in our system.
Mm-hmm.
We came to the world as light beings, and the universe was more fluid, and now we are living in a very dense time. And but we have potential to go back to more to the spiritual side of life, and also to be more spirit incarnated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, it makes me remember that, or think that, for example, childs are like surprised many times about death. No, oh, will we die for sure? No, they are surprised. Maybe it's what you said, no? A conditioning that
Yeah.
after
Well, children.
Yes. Sorry.
Children have a non-conditioned approach to life first, before they pick up all the death urge and all the beliefs about how we can live. But there is many children that have that innocence and that trust that life is ultimately good, and that they're not yet programmed for disaster and for disease. And that happens, but that happens sooner or later, because that's what we see all around us.
Yes. And how can we, which tools have we to protect us from this conditioning, such a profound, such a deep conditioning? Which tools could we use? In which extent they work, no? With this such a deep, very deep conditioning from thousands of years, no?
Yes. Well, we have to be scientific in the approach of what works and what doesn't work. And so we have to look at our body and see the results of our practices. And when we do practices which make us more alive, that make us more flexible and feeling young, and our skin keeps looking young, or all these signs, we have to be scientific about it, what works and what doesn't work. But the conditioning basically is what Leonard, and he picked it up from Freud, which he called the unconscious death urge. And so this conditioning is the belief that we do have to die and there's no other way. That we do have to get any kind of diseases, and that we are not in charge. So for me, the good thing about physical immortality is it puts me into the power that I have over my destiny. And of course, life will deal and give us things that we have to deal with, and challenges. The question is only under which thinking or under which philosophy I approach all my challenges. So if I have a challenge, for example, that is in regards to my health, and I could either think, okay, the doctor says I have 1 year to live, and I will follow that command or that belief of somebody else. Or I could say, okay, what is not going on right in my life? What is, why do I actually want to die? Why am I programming this? What are my habits that I have to maybe change? And am I really ready? Do I want to die? Because death is a wonderful option. And I think at the end, for Leonard, it was just the option after his body was giving in more and more over the years. It is okay to choose death and to start over again. It's death is not the enemy. Death is just a choice. But Leonard had the philosophy down till his last conscious conversation, that he laughed about death, that when he was told that he was going to die, he just laughed about that. So he had the philosophy down to his last moment. But the conditioning and the family tradition and maybe hurts and upsets that we had in our life, they create a certain kind of energy in the body. So the practices that work, Leonard put them into 4 basic elements. And so the elements are earth, air, water, and fire. And then he said the mind as ether, or is the driver of the vehicle, and the elements are the 4 wheels.
So to have healthy practice, to strengthen our life urge, and the elements as tools to strengthen this life urge, and to be very aware of our mental conditions, beliefs, attitudes, and
so the elements, I mean, this is the elements, or the practices is what people do all the time anyway. So the practices are not very complicated. Earth element is all about exercise. It's physical movement. It's also including drumming, dancing, and it includes sex. Everything that you do with your physical body can be keeping us alive. So I jump on my trampoline every day, at least 20 minutes, and I feel how that empowers me. And so then we have the air element, which is of course what you and I do, and many other people do. That is rebirthing breath work that Leonard created, and that many people have picked up and put in different schools, and different added something in their own ideas. But the basic of rebirthing breath work, that Leonard founded that in the 70s and created it, actually. So the rebirthing is a wonderful tool to also go backwards. I just read with Rudolf Steiner that we have to go backwards if we want to enter the spirit world while we are in the body, that we can perceive the spirit, the spiritual world. That we have to think backwards, that we have to think as a 12-year-old, 13-year, 14-year-old. So because the materialistic thinking, it does something to our brain, and it participates in the aging process.
Okay, I have another question for you. So which is the difference between physical immortality from a scientific perspective and a spiritual point of view?
Well, I think everything without a spiritual approach lacks the overview. I think we need to put everything into a spiritual context, and everything is God, as Leonard would say. Everything is spirit. But we can think that we're doing things without spiritual consequences, and that's what the materialistic age is all about. And science at this point, in many ways, used to be about. It's changing now. So if we have a worldview without the spiritual context, or without a higher power in our consideration, then we look at the world, and that's what we see. We see perversion. So science has ways to grow a new bladder. It has ways of growing new cells. It has a lot of things, but we always have to put it in the context of honesty, to say it with Babaji's words, in truth, simplicity, and love. It has to be loving for human beings. It has to be kind. And if it's not that, we might create more destruction.
Okay, so physical immortality is to keep body alive as long as we want to?
Yes. Yes.
And which is the purpose for that? Many people will think maybe, why to be in this world, you know? In this world, what can be my motivation to remind here? To remain here.
Yes. Well, that is the question of life and death. That is the question of our happiness. So I think that the universe or God or the creator or the creative energy, however we call that, created life for human beings on this planet as an adventure, as an experience to grow, to have fun, just to have fun, to embody on this planet. And in the Indian scriptures, it says that even the gods envy human beings to be alive. Mm-hmm. That it is a very unique opportunity to experience existence, because we will always experience existence. Even after death, we will go to the different planes and we will still be there. Mm-hmm. We will just not have a physical body. Mm-hmm. But that having the senses and the sense experience in this world is a very beautiful experience. To listen to the birds, to walk on the land, to be in the rain, to make love, to love people, to hug, to talk to people. And so life is a wonderful, beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. And if we don't value that, and we are overcome by our negative thinking and depression and grief and hate and resentment, then we cannot see that anymore. And so I think that we human beings right now are in the process that we do have to choose life, and that we have to choose good thoughts and love for each other, because we are on the verge of mass destruction. And you know what's happening with the corona right now, I mean, it creates so many challenges for people. And if we don't find back to love or stay in love, then well, we are in trouble. Mm-hmm. And the predictions say we will find light again. So I'm quite optimistic that all this will turn out good.
Perfect. Thank you. And maybe the last question is, how do you recognize an immortal?
That's a fun question.
And if you have find one, because Leonard says that he met immortals.
Leonard always talked about meeting 8 immortals.
Yeah.
I think that I met Bhatraji. That is the immortal who lives in the Sariska forest south of Delhi. Mm-hmm. And I've been to his ashram quite a few times, and I had some very special experiences. Mm-hmm. For me, Leonard had a certainty about it, because what he experienced was that the meetings are so unique. Mm-hmm. They have a childlike nature, and they have a mind that is so pure. Mm-hmm. And of course, Babaji is beyond all that. Babaji is on even a different level of mastery, or because he has all the consciousness with him all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I think I have met immortals, and it takes meditation. It just takes to think of the meeting and the time that you spend together, and see the impact or the value that you receive from it. And so it is a fun game, and I plan to go next year to India again, and go to the Himalayas and walk in the mountains. I've already asked an Indian friend, a guide, and some friends to join me on that trip. And just because you can't just go out there. I mean, the Kumbh Mela will be at the same time, so we will join the Kumbh Mela, and supposedly at the Kumbh Mela there is immortals as well. But there is millions and millions of people. It's the biggest gathering on this planet. And so you have to come with a quiet mind. You have to come in a meditative space, because otherwise you just get distracted by the noise around you. And so, but I want to go into the quietness on the mountains, and putting my intention out, and that's what we can do. It is very empowering to meet higher evolved beings, and so I think that yes, it's just exciting to look for it.
Yeah, because many cultures have been stories about immortals in India, in China, and also in Europe also. But
yes,
now,
I mean, Saint Germain supposedly lived also over centuries. And so, yes, I mean, the mastery is the goal. And I think it is based on our ability to be in the spiritual world. So we read a lot from Annalise Garin and Mary Baker Eddy, who also had her school is all based on the idea that you can master your body. And she read the Bible, and she concluded from reading the Bible that we have that power, and that it's given to us. And she was able to raise people from the deepest sickness into life again.
Okay, so thank you very much, Heike. We have been, yes, like having these inputs, about this idea of physical immortality, and expanding our minds with your talk, with your interview. So thank you.
Right, and that's the idea. It is not dependent on a person, and Leonard was a wonderful, great inspiration. And he is supporting us in continuing the way, because my beliefs are not dependent on one person. It was for me a great tragedy that he made those choices, and that led him into that direction. But my belief is, or my philosophy and my life urge is something different, and it's independent. And so life is a wonderful adventure, and I'm happy to share that, and to share that, of course, with you and with everybody else.
Thank you very much. And
thank you, Irene.
Hope to repeat an interview with you soon. About this topic or another.
Great.
So much to share.
I'm looking forward.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.